Hi everyone, welcome back to your English class. I'm Jasmine and this is the 20th module. In this module, we're going to discuss further about the chapter We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together, written by Gordon Cook and Alan East, and taken from the book Flamingo. Now let's discuss some of the important textual questions and its answers. The first question: list the steps taken by the captain to protect the ship when rough weather began and to check the flooding of the water in the ship. The answer can be the first one: to protect the ship when rough weather began. You can write, in order to protect the ship from rough weather, the captain decided to slow it down. So he dropped the storm jib and lashed heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. Then they double fastened everything and went through their life raft drill. And second one, to check the flooding of water in the ship, Larry and Herb started pumping out water. The captain stretched canvas and secured waterproof hatch covers across the gaping holes. When the two hand pumps blocked, an electric pump short circuited. He found another electric pump, connected it to an out pipe, and started it. Now let's move on to the next question. Describe the mental condition of the voyages on the 4th and 5th of January. The answer: on January 4th, the voyagers felt relieved after 36 hours of continuous pumping out water. They had their first meal in almost 2 days. The respite was short-lived. They faced dangerous situation on January 5th. Fear of death loomed large. They were under great mental stress. Now let's move on to the third question. Describe the shifts in the narration of the events as indicated in the three sections of the text. Give a subtitle to each section. The answer is: the first section describes a peaceful journey from Plymouth, England to 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town, Africa. Here, the narrator is relaxed and full of confidence. As the weather deteriorated, they faced gigantic waves. They took precautions to save themselves and struggle with the disaster. The narration becomes grim, but it exudes the fighting spirit, confidence, and strong willpower. By the morning of January 6th, Waywaker rode out the storm, and by evening they sighted Amsterdam Island. The narrator is now relaxed. Joy, relief, and complete confidence are apparent. The subtitle to each section is: Section 1: Cheerful Journey, Section 2: Facing the Wave, and Section 3: Searching the Island. Now let's move on to the next question. What difference did you notice between the reaction of the adults and the children when faced with danger? A model answer to the question can be: there is a lot of difference between the way in which the adults and the children reacted when faced with danger. The adults felt the stress of the circumstances but prepared themselves to face the dangers. They took sufficient precautions to protect the ship when the rough weather began. They equipped everyone with lifelines, waterproof clothes, and life jackets. Larry and Herb worked cheerfully and optimistically for 3 days continuously to pump out water from the ship. Mary replaced the narrator at the wheel when the deck was smashed and steered the ship. She also served them meal after 2 days of struggle against odds. The narrator performed his role as a captain with courage, determination, resourcefulness, and full of responsibility. He undertook repair work and provided apparatus and directions needed to protect the ship. He also helped in steering the ship towards the island. The children suffered silently and patiently. Sue did not want to bother her father with her troubles, and John acted courageously. He was not afraid to die if all of them perished together. Now let's move on to the next question. How does the story suggest that optimism helps to endure the direst stress? The answer: the story suggests that optimism certainly helps to endure the direst stress. The behavior of the four adults during the crisis bears it out. Larry Vigil and Herb Siegler were two crewmen. As the mighty waves smashed the deck, water entered the ship through many holes and openings. Right from the evening of January 2nd, Larry and Herb started pumping out water. They worked continuously, excitedly, and feverishly for 36 hours. It was a result of their continuous pumping that they reached the last few centimeters of water on January 4th. They remained cheerful and optimistic while facing extremely dangerous situations. The narrator did not lose his courage, hope, or presence of mind while facing problems. He did not worry about the loss of equipments. He used whatever was available there. His self confidence and practical knowledge helped him to steer out of storm and reach the Isle Amsterdam island. Mary stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. She did not lose hope or courage either. Now, the next question: what lessons do we learn from such hazardous experience when we are face to face with death? The answer to the question: hazardous experiences may bring us face to face with death, but they impart us many important lessons of conduct. Life is not always a bed of roses. We must react to dangers and risks with patience and fortitude. Adversity is the true test of character. The purity of gold is judged by putting it in fire. The hazardous experience bring out the best in us. Coward persons die many times before their death. Fear is a negative feeling and leads to inactivity and abject surrender to circumstances. Such sailors or soldiers lose the battle against the odds in life. On the other hand, persons with self confidence, courage, resourcefulness, and presence of mind face all the dangers boldly and overcome all disasters. Their sharing and caring attitude inspires others also to face the adverse circumstances boldly and tide over them. Now let's move on to the final question. Why do you think people undertake such adventurous expeditions in spite of the risks involved? A model answer to the question can be: man is adventurous by nature. The greater the risk, the more the thrill. The thrill of exploring unknown lands, discovering wealth and beauty lying hidden in far lands, inspires brave hearts to stake their life of rest and repose. Perhaps they value one crowded hour of glory more than a long, uneventful life of sloth and inactivity. It is true that sometimes adventures are quite risky and prove fatal. The failures of some persons do not daunt the real lovers of adventure. They draw lessons from the shortcomings and errors of others and make fresh attempts with greater zeal. Part of the charm of an adventurous expedition lies in adapting oneself to the circumstances and overcoming the odds. The success of an adventurous expedition brings name, fame, and wealth. History books are replete with accounts of famous explorers like Columbus, Vasco da Gama, Captain Cook, and Captain Scott. With that, I wind up the session. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.